I will mute everyone. Spotlight this video. I know that's helpful to some people. Okay, let's begin like we've been beginning for a while now and just gently shake your hands. Invite the doors of the joints to open. And this means the knuckles of the hands, but it also means the little joints of each finger. Sometimes we don't really think about it, but really think about opening those areas for energy flow. We don't want energy to stagnate there. And let your arms shake up in front of you. Let your knees bounce a little and shake back down beside you. Now shake up to the elbow and really try to relax the elbow. Because I see people, I just did this in-person class yesterday at Move Fitness Studio, and a lot of people were doing this, where the elbow is tight, and we noticed it and said, okay, what happens if we really relax the elbow? That can relax the forearm, and then let yourself bounce up to the humerus bone and feel for space between the head of the humerus bone and your shoulder girdle. Because a lot of times it's the tightness up here that causes shoulder issues. Let your arms shake out to the side, shake back down, and shake forward, shake back down. Good. And then let's let the hands follow each other like flying swallows across the body. If it's good for your spine, you can come into a twist. If it's not, you can keep the hands right in front of the body. You can make the motions large, like these swallows are really active, or you can make it small. So just play with range of motion, play with how it feels in the arms and hands. Let the thumbs and fingers be part of the movement. And then today, let's take this movement right into a circle up overhead and down. Just bringing some fluid motion into the body. Remember, it doesn't have to be full range of motion, a complete stretch. Let it just be easy. Try easy. Easy flow. Coming to the base, let's take it the other way. Circling up and around. Just letting the whole body become a part of the motion. And then bring the arms back down to the sides and just let them swing across. Swing across. Move my pillow a little bit. And then as you swing out to the left, let's step left, lift right, step right, lift left. Just swinging the joints open, like we're swinging doorways. And then come to stillness with that. And let's swing up into a lunge on the left side and then the right. And you can lift the back foot if that's comfortable to you. Don't feel like it's required. And as you lift the hands and wrists, try to release the shoulder and neck, because we tend to try to do the lifting with the upper trap. See if you can feel into this idea of, okay, upper trap, I don't want you to work so hard. I'm going to try to lift my arms up from underneath. Haha, waking up different muscles. And then let's come into the center and begin marching. Let the arms just swing gently. Feel into your rotator cuff. Is the swing gentle enough? Imagine that hot air balloon lifting you from the center pallet, and let yourself lean back a little as you march. How does that feel? And then lean forward, and then come to the center. Let your head just be lifted above that beautiful spring of your spine, warming the body up today. And then let's stop the marching and circle the hips. So we kind of move through different joints in the body, opening them up, circling the hips one direction, and then taking the circles the other way. Good morning, hips. And then take it into figure eights. Really try to stretch those outer hip muscles in your figure eight, like stick your hind end out to the side and back, really stretching open those deep hip muscles. And then step the legs together and let your knees circle. And circle the knees the other way. And see if as your hands rest down, this can also be a stretch for the back. You could lift up the pelvic floor, activate your Uddiyana Bandha, long spine. And then stand up and shake a leg. Shake your arms and shake a leg. And then try it the other way. Shake the other leg. I like how Kathy's shaking. Kathy's got some vibrancy today. All right, shake it all out. And let's pick up our hand weights. Keep going with this activity. Bring the arms up into our right angle at the elbow and open wide and close. If any of you want to add the circle TheraBand on these exercises, you can. Those of you who come to Friday. We open and close, or you can just concentrate on, I'm lifting the arch, the inner arch of my foot as I land wide. Visualize stretching that TheraBand open, and even that may help you activate that inner arch and strengthen it. We open and close and open and close and inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Warming up the body. And then let's come to center, open arms and stretch the arms up and open the elbows wide, relaxing the shoulders and stretch up and open and up. Find your breath with it. Perhaps you're inhaling the lift, lifting to your balls of your feet, exhaling the lower, or maybe you'd rather exhale the lift and inhale the lower. One thing about Joseph Pilates is he didn't always direct which direction the breath should go. So let yourself play with it. Different teachers have different reasons for guiding the breath the way they do. I can explain mine if you like, but I'm not opposed to you experimenting in your own body with what feels better. Come back down and open and exhale. Your pinkies together, cat curl the spine a little bit and inhale into the spine. And exhale, open, lift the heart, palms out. Inhale into the front chest. And exhale the movement and inhale into the spine and let it be fluid. Try to keep your humerus bone parallel to the floor if that's okay in your body. And one more. And then come open and pause. Find your shoulder blades on the back body. Broaden them. Lift the lowest ribs away from the rooting pelvis and legs. Lift the shoulder girdle away from the low ribs. Lift the skull away from the shoulder girdle. And turn your palms inward and bicep curl. And bicep curl and come to one toe and the other toe. And perhaps lift the knee and the other knee. Fluid breath. If it hurts to hold your arms up that high, you can bicep curl with your arms along your sides. That works too. If possible, we keep the humerus bone lifted and parallel to the floor. And we keep the heart lifted and the gaze at the mountaintop. And we feel into the length of the column of the spine. I don't like the word column. We feel into the length of the curvy, strong spring of the spine. And one more. And release. Take your right toes out and inhale. Snow angel up. And exhale to center. Take it to the other side. Exhale to center. And inhale. And exhale. So you could do all of this without hand weights. Don't feel like you have to use hand weights, and don't feel like you have to lift up high. You could come to one toe. You could bring your arms out just slightly to the side. We're just warming up the body. Do what's best for you today. Inhaling and exhaling, lengthen the spine. And one more. Come to center and let your arms begin to march again. Let your knees lift. Keep that heart lifted, the hyoid bone and head resting back over the spine. Can you rest into the back body as you march? Let the back body support you. And then come to stillness and hinge slightly forward. Bring your arms in a circle and open them like wings. Now, I'm not throwing the wrist back and the head of the arm bone forward. I'm lifting the head of the arm bone back and opening my beetle wings. They don't open that far, and then coming forward again. Open and close. Inhale and exhale, or exhale and inhale. Long spine. Yeah, beautiful, everyone. I like how your necks are long and you're not doing this. Long neck, your gaze will be towards the floor because we're hinged forward. One more. Then bring the arms down. Lift the pelvic floor, lengthen the line of the spine. Some of you may hinge a little farther forward. Don't do that if it's pressure in the low back. Really find Uddiyana Bandha, up and in along the front of the spine. And draw your elbows to your side bodies and release your hands down. And draw and release, long spine. Right here, you could concentrate on the core the whole time. Lengthening the spine up through the front neck flexors. Back of the skull reaching away from back of the neck. And then lift the elbows, broaden across your collarbones, and straighten the arms. And hold. Really broaden across the collarbones. Find your shoulder blades on the back body. And hold. Strengthening your triceps, strengthening muscles in the back. Keep the neck long. And then bend the elbows and lower your grocery bags. Lift and straighten the arms again and hold. Again, broad across the shoulder blades. We're not drawing the shoulders down to the hips. We're not shortening the spine. Keep long from pelvis to shoulder girdle. Long from shoulder girdle to base of skull. And bend the elbows, release the arms, and come to standing. Circle your arms forward and up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Pause. Let your shoulders relax. Lengthen the neck. Circle the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Check in that your knees are not hyperextending. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Reach. Keep your pelvis from flipping forward and down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Float one arm up in front of you. Float it back down. Float the other arm up and float it back down. Okay, let's put the hand weights down and let's come to the wall. So those of us who've been working on shoulder standing yoga this week have been doing a lot of this. We're going to do it again in Pilates because it's so good for back strengthening. Broad across your collarbones. Bring the humerus bone against the wall. Now there may be a tendency to press the elbows in and pop the head of the arm bone forward. Try not to do that. Bring the head of the arm bone back against the wall. Root into your heels and lengthen into the top of your head. Root from your pelvis into the feet and lift the rib ring away from the pelvis. Lift the shoulder girdle away from the rib ring. Rest the head back. Rest the humerus bones back. Press the humerus bones back, but don't do it at 100% of effort. Notice if you press really hard, you may also throw your knees back. Try to keep your tibia beneath your femur bone. Really broad across the shoulder girdle. We're going to stay here for a little while. So press with an effort level you can sustain. 100% is not better. Try to sustain an effort level where you can keep your long, naturally curved spine. Your head does not need to be touching the wall, but we want to rest it back. Rest the hyoid bone in. Broad across the shoulder girdle. You may feel a stretch in your front chest from armpit down to kind of mid-chest. That would be your pec minor, your stretching. Now try to breathe into the whole circumference of the torso, even as you keep pressing the arms back. Lengthening the head skyward, root your heels. Now breathe up the length of the spine. And release. Now just stand in your Tadasana and notice how just that action changes the body. Okay, now we're going to step against the wall to the side. Still have your elbow at your right angle. And press your arm into the wall. Now remember, okay, pause that. Step away from the wall and everybody bring your arm bones forward to curl around your heart. We don't want to be there. Bring the head of your arm bones back and puff your chest forward. We don't want to be there. Find neutral, where your arms hang to your sides. Let your hyoid bone rest back, shoulders over, pelvis over, ankle. And then bend your elbow. And then stand against the wall. And press the arm on the wall into the wall. Again, not at 100% of effort. Start with 10. And as you press the arm into the wall, notice how you may engage the outer leg. Feel from the arm against the wall's shoulder to the leg at the inside of the room, away from the walls, hip and heel. Feel for that line of energy. There's your myofascial sling across the back body. Rest the hyoid bone back. Try to ground both feet, lift through the pelvic floor, lengthen the spine. And from the inner leg, feel across to the outer shoulder blade. Try to create that length as well. Broad across the back body like you were when the whole back was on the wall. And release. And let's try the other side. So as you press into the wall, make sure that your humerus bone isn't rounding forward and it isn't back. So you're right here, Anne. And then you're pressing this arm into the wall, but it's not moving out because you're right next to the wall. You're pressing into the wall. It's an isometric, okay? And that's going to help you activate that upper shoulder blade. You're connecting it to the opposite hip, okay? And then down into that heel. You'll feel that leg activate, the opposite leg, as soon as you press that arm into the wall. It'll be this outside leg that tries to stabilize you. Okay, so really feel into that. Breathe length up the spine and down into both heels. Broaden across your shoulder girdle. Feel the connection from the inside shoulder to the outside hip pocket, down into the outside heel. There's your myofascial sling. And release. Turn your back to the wall one more time and come into your Tadasana against the wall. Notice your lumbar curve away from the wall, your thoracic curve into the wall, your cervical curve away from the wall. Broaden across your shoulder girdle and take both arms back into the wall. Ground through your feet, lift your pelvic floor, lengthen your spine skyward. Fluid breath. Inhale into the whole circumference of the torso. Notice if your knees want to throw back an effort. If so, try to line your femur bone up over your tibia. Perhaps release some of the effort in the upper back. Long neck, but honor the natural curve. And step away from the wall. And shake it out. All right, let's come to the floor. Please have your ball blocker oov. And please have your long TheraBand. And rest your head down. If you need a pillow, please bring it in. Remember, the pillow should not be pushing against your neck. It should be lifting your head enough so that you have a nice cervical curve to your spine. Let your arms rest out, palms up. And then exhale, float one shin up to tabletop. Float the foot, land light as a feather. Float the other shin up to tabletop. Lower the foot, light as a feather. I like to exhale up because it activates your inner core, and inhale down. Exhale to help lift these heavy leg bones, and inhale down. Continue the activation. Broad across the shoulder girdle, shoulder blades resting back onto the floor. Now bring your hands up to face across the body, palm to palm. Press back again with the whole of your humerus bone as you lift one leg and lower. Now this time as you lift a leg, see if you can just land the foot with 75% of its weight. Lift the next leg, land with 75% of the weight. Can you stay broad across the shoulder girdle? Can you keep the whole humerus bone grounding back even as you just place 75% of the weight on the foot? And if you can, then try 50. So you're not putting the whole weight of the leg down, but a little bit, half of it. And if that feels like, okay, I can do that, then try 25. Broad across the shoulder girdle. Don't strain in the neck or jaw. Each finger can be alive out of your palm. Palms can be alive facing each other. And float one leg to tabletop and the other up to join it. Any of you that need blankets under your sacrum can put them there. And toe dip. And come back up. And inhale the toe dip and exhale the lift. You can try it the other way if that feels better to you. But I like that because the exhale turns on your inner core. Really still grounding back across your shoulder girdle. Staying awake in the upper body today. Come back up and draw your knees in towards your chest. Still awake across the shoulder girdle and down the humerus bone. Lengthen one leg out at a 45-degree angle and switch and switch and switch. Don't bring your arms up into the motion. Keep your arms on the floor. Keep broad across your shoulder girdle, shoulder blades on the back. Nod your nose towards your mouth and almost lift from the hairline just a little bit. Wake up your front neck flexors. Broad across the back body. We're strengthening the back today. Feel it. Good. And now come in with both knees. Keep broad across the shoulder girdle and press the feet straight up towards the sky. Lower the heels to your point of control where you can keep the low back rib ring grounding. You can activate your front abdominals in towards the spine and then bend your knees in towards your armpits. Stay broad across the shoulder girdle. Press back out. Stay active in the hands facing each other. Press back out. Okay, so I'm not having you do the arms. Some of you are doing the arms. I really want you to stay active in the shoulder girdle back. Okay, so don't go into habit. I'm having you change the habit today. I want you to feel the upper body grounding back as you reach the legs away. Feel broad across your shoulder girdle. Feel long in your neck. And one more. And then come back in. And toe dip, one foot at a time. Stay broad across the shoulder girdle, active in your humerus bones. If you'd like, toe dip both feet. Stay active in the low back rib ring, but open across the shoulder girdle, active in the humerus bones. Remember, it's not 100% of effort. And last one. Okay, now draw the right knee in, bring your hands up, inner hand on inner knee, outer hand on ankle, and switch. Almost lift from your hairline. Everybody, don't lift your head off yet. Lengthen the neck. Find that front neck flexor action, and then if you want to, you lift the head. We don't lift the head with osteoporosis. Lengthen out through the legs. Lengthen and lengthen and lengthen. Keep that upper body long through the top of the head. And now hug both knees in, reach hands and feet towards the sky and go into the regular motion. Take the ankles away from the wrists, circle and hug. As you reach out, really ground that low back rib ring. Think of your shoulder girdle broad even as the arms circle. Let the upper body rest back. Some of you may lift the head and take the arms long. This is the full extent of this exercise, is long lifted head, arms come back towards the ears and then circle and hug. One more. And then take your right leg overhead, left leg long, and pulse, pulse, and switch, pulse, pulse. You can either hug the leg towards you, lifting the torso, or you can lift the leg out of its hip socket. Okay, so it's kind of fun to alternate those. You can point the feet or flex them or float them. You can also try lengthening the leg with relaxed feet. That's what dancers in Pilates often do. And come back to center. Rest your arms wide, palms up, flex your feet, and even if it's just an inch or two, lower your heels towards the end of the mat. Rest your shoulder girdle broad and float the legs back up. Flex your feet, lower your heels, point your toes and lift. Flex and lower, point and lift. Broad across the shoulder girdle, resting back. One more. And then float your hands beneath your head and exhale. Lift your right elbow, lengthen your right leg, and switch, and switch, and switch. Keep that long spine, and this time really rest the head back into the hands. Reach the right low ribs towards the left hip pointer, the left low ribs towards the right hip pointer. Wake up your obliques. Remember, these are the muscles that help you twist and side bend, and they're the muscles that put the brakes on your twists and side bends. We want them strong. And come to the center and relax your head down and release one foot and then the other to the floor. Fluid breath. Now reach for your ball. And float one leg to tabletop and the other to join it and place the ball between your knees. Lift your hands just 3 inches off the floor and begin patting your palms towards the floor without touching it. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And also press into the ball as your hands pat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Now pause. Nod your nose slightly towards your mouth. Almost lift your head off the floor from the hairline. So this, you can still leave 50% of the weight, even 75% of the weight on the floor, but lift from the hairline so you're really getting those front neck flexors active. This releases your chin slightly towards your sternum. And again, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. You can stay with that, or those of you that want to lift the head and look towards the ball, do so. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 2, 3, 4, 5. And hug the ball. Release the head back to the floor if it's up. Lift the arms up overhead. And take the arms overhead as you toe dip the toes, still hugging the ball, and then come back up. The movement can be as small or as large as is comfortable in your body. Hands move away from feet, knees hug the ball. We lower and lift. Keep your low back rib ring grounding back, your front ribs hugging towards your hip pointers. Lower and lift. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Bring your humerus bones back against the floor, palms facing each other across your torso. Really ground, still hugging the ball. Those of you who can't twist, you'll be hugging into the ball again, pulsing your inner thighs. Those of you who can come into a twist, Take the ball slightly off to the left. You'll lift the right hip, straighten the right leg out, and then bend the right knee, come back to center. Take the hips slightly to the right, hug the ball and lengthen the left leg, come back to center, and again, twist to the left, lengthen the right leg, bend the right leg, come back to center, lift the left hip as you twist to the right, straighten the left leg, bend the left knee, come back to center. Pay attention to your shoulder girdle and arms. They're pressing back as you take the gentle twist. It does not have to be far. Then you lengthen the leg and you bring it back in. Come to center. Twist the other way. Straighten the top leg, bend it in, come back to center. Release the ball. If your head's on a pillow, take it off and put the ball underneath your sacrum. Take your arms overhead and lengthen one leg long and take a few deep breaths into your psoas pathway. Stretch from heel to fingertips. Fluid breath. Relaxing on the exhales. So we've just done a lot of good hip flexor strengthening, which tends to shorten the muscle. Now we're lengthening it out. Switch legs. Lengthen the other side. Notice if one side's tighter. If so, in your own time, really spend some time lengthening the tighter side. If both legs over the ball is comfortable, take both legs over. If not, switch sides again. Deep breaths, deep into the pelvis, inviting the muscles in the front body to relax towards earth. This will help the psoas to lengthen. If you relax your social engagement muscles of the face and the jaw, this will remind the rest of the body it too can relax. And then step your feet back in. Lift up off your ball blocker. Oof. And roll yourselves over and come to side plank. So I want everybody to bring the top hand under to the bottom side. And all I want you to do is keeping your hip on the floor. I want you to side bend and lift that side body and just feel your muscles along that side and how the outer shoulder blade may engage, the side body engage, even the front side abs engage. And then you can lift the arm and if you'd like, lift the pelvis. Really feel into those muscles lifting, even along close into the spine. So your fingers couldn't feel it, but your mind can. Feel for those muscles lifting along that bottom side of your spine. Now, those of you who wanted to take the plank farther, lengthen the legs out and step one leg over and lift. Still feeling into that length of the spine, even along the neck. Keep the neck in line with the spine, the rest of the spine. And if you'd like, stack the feet and take the arm long overhead. Fluid breath, strengthening the side body, building bone density in the arm supporting us. And then release the pelvis to the floor and switch sides. Okay, really important to strengthen around all sides of the spine. So even if it's keeping your hip on the floor and lifting this side body up, that helps you engage those muscles. So feel into it, palpate. Ah, yeah, there it is. Those abdominals are engaged. That side body isn't. Can I lift in a different way that will? Oh, there it is. Shoulder blade, yep, outside muscle of the shoulder blade. And then if you'd like, lift up. Good. Long spine. Those of you with scoliosis, think of your curves and think of supporting and lengthening them. If you'd like to lengthen the leg and step over, then do so. If you'd like to stack the legs, do so. Wherever you're working is fine. but feel into that lift from the underside all along the spine, even the neck. You can take the arm long overhead. Try to breathe three-dimensionally into the torso. And then release. Okay, come up onto hands and knees. Bring your TheraBand forward across the mat. Okay, so I'm going to step a little off the mat here so that you can see my TheraBand better. And today, the first step I would like you to take is to lift the TheraBand from beneath with the left hand palm up. So my palm is up, my elbow is bent, and I want you to imagine someone is touching right behind your elbow and they're pushing your arm forward. And just take the arm forward. And then bring the elbow back. And just take the arm forward. Feel into the muscle of your shoulders, the muscles of your armpit, and how they're working. Try to stay balanced in the pelvis. Don't hyperextend the standing elbow. Take the arm forward and back. So here's what it looks like from the side. Forward and back. My elbow isn't splaying out. It's right next to my side when it comes back. Getting into those deep, low shoulder muscles around the outer shoulder blade. One more. Hold it there. Broad across your shoulder girdle, long in your neck. And release. And let's try the other side. Okay. So those of you who did OOF class, you probably recognize this. We did it with balance later, which we will do in this class too. Take the arm forward and draw it back. Remember, you can release the TheraBand's tension as much as you need to find the exercise in good alignment. And then you can strengthen your grip on a shortened TheraBand over time. The elbow comes straight back by your side and then straight forward as if someone were pushing your arm forward from behind. Stay strong in your abdominals, long in your spine. Pressing forward. That looks good, Anne. That looks good, Cynthia. Feel into the outer shoulder blade. The elbow stays bent, so it's like the hand curls up towards the sky, like you're kind of punching upward. You don't straighten the arm forward. Yeah, these look good. And one more, and pause, long neck, active core, and release. Beautiful. Now, come back onto hands and knees. And remember, if hands and knees is hard, you could have your hands on a chair or a tabletop and be on your feet. Hold your TheraBand out to the side, but this time, keep your wrist from breaking. So you're not lifting the knuckles up. Keep the wrist long and have the palm facing down and lift the TheraBand out to the side. Don't lift the wrist higher than the shoulder. Draw the shoulder blade onto the back, lengthen the neck, and then lower the hand. Remember, you can have as much or as little tension on the TheraBand as is good in your body right now. Keep the head of the arm bone lifted. Don't lift the wrist higher than the shoulder. And then lift out and hold. Long spine. Support your spine with Mula Bandha, lift of the pelvic floor. Uddiyana Bandha, lifting energy up along the front of the spine all the way to the throat. And release. And let's try the other side. Make sure your standing hand is spread so that each finger is active and you're not collapsing onto your palm or your carpal tunnel. Check your wrist on the second hand that you're not breaking the knuckles skyward, but you're keeping long at the wrist. And then lift the arm and lower. A lot of us will try to break at the wrist because we feel like we can lift the TheraBand higher. That doesn't really matter. Fluid breath. That's right, Mom, that's good. You could be, yeah, that's good. So you lift it out to the side. Make sure your standing elbow isn't hyperextending, and you lower. And you may inhale or exhale to lift and lower. Find your breath. And this time, lift out and hold. And release. Good. Let's roll back into our child's pose. A long spine. Fluid breath. And roll up into your tabletop. And take your right fingertips out and your left shin out and lift like a funny bird with two different shaped wings in two different places. And lower your shin and your fingertips and touch and lift and lower and lift and lower and lift and hold. Long spine, active core, and release. And take the left fingertips out and the right shin out and lift. Long neck and lower and inhale and exhale and lift and lower and lift and lower and lift and hold. Each finger pad of the hand on the floor is active. That helps lift the center of your palm and the carpal tunnel. And release. And inhale your cow. And exhale through movement. And inhale into your hissing cat. Let your head dangle away from the shoulders. And move with your own breath, exhaling into cow and inhaling length. And exhaling into hissing cat and inhaling spaciousness into the back body. And take your right fingertips forward and your left toes back. And float your arm and leg up. Pausing when you're parallel to the floor. Don't lift into a back bend. Lift the navel in and up. If you'd like to, bring the elbow towards the knee and lift. Elbow towards the knee and lift. Elbow towards the knee and lift and hold. We're strengthening the multifidi. Perhaps gaining some awareness of your myofascial slings. And release. Take the left hand forward, the right toes back. And float up. And float down. And float up. And float down. And inhale up and pause. You can stay here or bring elbow towards knee and lengthen. Elbow towards knee and stretch. Long from the top of the head to the tailbone. Active in the front of the spine. And we lower. And inhale your cow. And exhale the movement and inhale into your hissing cat. And from there, widen your knees and in hissing cat, lower your sit bones toward your heels, stretching the lumbar spine. Perhaps gently rocking your pelvis side to side to lengthen in between the vertebrae. Be careful with this. Make it subtle. And then come back into your full child's pose. Walk your hands to one side, breathing length into the opposite side. Fluid breath. Filling your torso three-dimensionally, relaxing on the exhale. And then walk around to the other side. Inhaling. Exhaling, releasing. Letting the body pulse. Pelvis away from hand. And then come back to center and roll your toes under and lift into your downward dog. Let the knees bend. Each finger pad active. Feel the arch of your palm lift. If you can, the femur bones move back in the pelvis and the knees begin to straighten. They don't have to become fully straight. No reason to touch the floor with your heels if it feels like it's straining your lumbar spine. Broad across your shoulder girdle here, Imagine your shoulder girdle broad against the mat at the back. Keep that breath. Lift your head a little, let the neck lengthen. Breathe into the whole three-dimensional torso. Beautiful. Really nice length, Cynthia. Really good alignment. Beautiful, Sharon. Stay broad across your shoulder girdle. Release your neck. Very nice, Jory. Beautiful, Susie. Yeah. And good length, John. Really nice length. You too, Mom. All right. Step your feet towards your hands. That looks good, Anne. That looks good, Linda. And let yourself rest either in standing child's pose or Uttanasana. Very nice Uttanasana, Evan. He's very aware of keeping his torso and his femur bones, protecting the lumbar spine. Very nice, Jory. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful poses, everyone. Nice length, Vicky. And then let yourselves ground the feet and unhinge or roll up if your spine permits that. And reach for the sky. And exhale the hands down through the heart center. And pause in your mountain pose. Just feeling the body after the work you've done so far. And then let's come to working in the hips. Come here, Iz. Sorry. Come on. Come on in. Okay. So let's bring our block towards the wall if we want the wall support. And step on the block with the inside foot. Okay. And you can be as far away from the wall as is comfortable. You know, using the support. You may want to be back from the arm so you're not throwing the arm back. Make the wrist ahead of the head of the arm bone. And then let the outside leg swing. Now, we've done all this work this week in the last few weeks with lengthening the spine. So right here, see, can I still think of lengthening from pelvic floor out through the fontanelle at the top of the head? Can I find that spaciousness as the leg swings? Make sure that you're not dropping the pelvis, letting the inner hip kind of bump in towards the wall. Keep long and lifted in the outer buttock of the standing leg. And then let the knee bend in front and drop the leg. And try not to let the whole torso or even the pelvis go too much with the leg. Just you're lifting and releasing, lifting and releasing, lifting and releasing. Now lift up, stretch out, bring the foot down, heel to sit bone, and ride your bicycle. Try to keep your pelvis even as you ride your bicycle. Fluid breath. Those of you who want to work on balance, you can try hands on your hips. Fluid breath. Now, kick forward, bend the knee, and ride your bicycle backward, bringing the heel to the sit bone. Yeah. Woo. That standing leg has to work. Lift your side bodies long into the armpits. Let your head lengthen up from behind your ears. And then rest your foot beside the block, beside the other foot, and take it out to the side. Flexed foot. Let it lift right out to the side. Lift. It doesn't have to go far. Can you stay long and strong in the spine so that you're not doing this, hinging into the wall like this to lift, but you're actually using the muscles of the hip. Stay long through the top of the head, even if the lift is only a couple inches out to the side. And then lift the foot out to the side and draw little soccer ball circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Draw the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And let the leg dangle. Stand nice and tall and release. Okay, oops, sorry, Izzy. And let's try the other side. Okay. So you'll turn around. I'm going to still watch you, so I'm just going to balance. And let your leg dangle and swing. Keep your hips even. So really feel into the pelvis, balancing your pelvis. Try not to let the pelvis rock forward and back. Just let the femur bone swing. Nice tall alignment through the top of the head, long neck. Beautiful. Now let the knee swing forward and drop the leg down. Swing forward and drop. So you're just bending the knee and then you're releasing the foot. So it's not a circle yet. You're just lifting the knee and then dropping the foot. Lifting and dropping, trying to lengthen that psoas pathway. Beautiful. And now let's lift the knee, stretch the leg out and come into your bicycles. Can you lift the knee without hitching the hip up towards the armpit? Can you keep the heart lifted and the head resting back? Yeah, beautiful. And one more, and then let's go backwards. Bicycle backwards. See if that heel can come up towards the sit bone and then you reach the foot behind you. Yeah. Woohoo. Feel the work both in your standing leg and in your working leg, your moving leg. And then come down and lift the leg straight out to the side and release and out to the side and release. Long spine. Hot air balloon lifting you straight up. Try not to do turnout. Let the whole outer edge of the foot lift for this exercise. And then come back down and draw your soccer ball circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Draw the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then release the leg. Maybe even shake it out a little. Stand tall from the pelvis. Lift and lengthen through the top of the head. Bring your arms into that bridge pose position with your palms facing each other. Press your humerus bones back. Let your head rest back. There it is. And step down. Move the block out of your way. Come back to the center of the mat and lift up your TheraBand. Hold it, palms up, elbows in your golf tees. Okay? Remember, we're placing the humerus bone not forward or back, but in the center. Elbows in their golf tees. And then we're opening the hands out to the side and letting the hands come back and opening the hands to the side and pause. So my elbows are right under my humerus bone. That's right, Ann. And then come back to center and then stretch out and pause. Broaden across your shoulder girdle. Broad across the shoulder blades. Ground into your heels beneath your sit bones. Think about how your feet are aligned. Line your femur bones up over your tibia bones so that you're not hyperextending in the knee. Check your pelvis. Rest your head back. And release the hands forward. Release the TheraBand. And if you'd like to, pick up your hand weights. Step to the right side of your mat in your Pilates V. Thumbs to your shoulders. Actually, let's start in that same bridge position, palm facing palm. Let's try this. Step across to the left and come back. Okay, rest your head back, broad across your shoulder girdle, and step and back. I want you to stay aware of the shoulder girdle. The shoulder blades on the back body. Step and float back. Step and float back. Keep the hyoid bone resting back and the head resting back. Even as you lean forward, the head doesn't jut forward. The chin doesn't fall forward. We stay long in the neck. Good. Now let's try this. Come back to your V and open your hands a little wider, like we just did with the TheraBand. Find your shoulder blades on the back. Lean into the back body. Lift the back of the skull and step and come back. Stay aware of your back body from the heel to the buttock to the shoulder blades to the base of the skull. Woohoo! Hello, back body. And then come back in, thumbs to your shoulders, and reach forward and step and back. So we float across to the right. We come back to our Pilates V. We ground the back heel, and we're aware of the whole length of the back body. And one more. And float back and release your arms and step to the other side. Pilates V. Let's begin in the bridge position, elbows at a right angle by the side. Really press back like you're pressing into the wall. Rest the head back. Wake up your shoulders. Press out into the walls to either side. Imagine the walls on either side, broaden the back body. And then step across to the right and back. Right and back. Keep the outer left heel grounding. Feel into the back body and the back of the skull. Keep them awake. At the front body, lift your pelvic floor and draw the navel in and up to support the awakeness of the back body. And now come back and open the hands to the side, keeping the shoulder blades there, broad across the collarbones. Step and back, step and back. Let yourself float and back and float and back. Beautiful. These look so good. Stay strong from the front navel up the spine. Remember, that's part of your support here. And then come back. Beautiful. Bring your thumbs to your shoulders and we step and reach. Remember, you can always stay with the previous movement. Step and back. Inhale and exhale, or exhale and inhale. Feel into the arch of that back foot, staying alive even as you come forward. And come back and rest your arms. Release your hand weights. And bring your feet into their V if that's comfortable. Actually, let's all do parallel today. Bring your feet parallel. And bend your knees out over your toes. And lengthen the legs. And bend the knees. Let's bring the arms up, palm facing palm. Bring the humerus bones back. Bend your knees. And straighten up. And bend. And straighten. Now bend. Lift your heels. Slide up the wall. And lower your heels. Bend, lift, up and lower and bend, lift, up and lower. Pause. Broaden across your collarbones. Lift the heart center slightly. Feel the shoulder blades on the back. Broad across the shoulder girdle and lift to the balls of the feet. Bend the knees, lower the heels and lift. Bend. Lower and straighten and lift, bend, lower and straighten. Keep your consciousness in the back shoulder girdle. Lift, bend, lower and straighten and lift, bend, lower and straighten. Feel long in the spine all the way through the top of the head. Lift, bend, lower and straighten and lift, bend, lower and straighten, and release your arms. And shake them out, shake the whole body. Let it loosen up. And then let's inhale. Draw in good energy from this beautiful day. Let's inhale into our expanding awareness. And let's inhale in to being conscious this week of our back, body, and our shoulder girdle. All right, thank you. Have a nice day.